was out strolling one very hot summer's day, when I thought I'd lay myself down to rest in a big field of tall grass. I lay there in the sun and felt it caressing my face as I fell asleep and dreamed. I dreamed I was in a Hollywood movie, that I was a star.
When I was a kid, I was obsessed by the Poseidon adventure. The first time ever I saw the poster of that upturned ship that it was a coming attraction, I found it hard to sleep in anticipation. Maybe because it was my first non-Disney picture at a walk-in theater, but certain particulars about that movie, like the fact that the ship's dining room tables were glued to the floor and people saved themselves from falling into the stained glass fire by getting under them, struck my imagination in a way no other film quite had, and its images stayed with me and carried over to my real-life world. I could spend hours laying upside down on my bed and imagining what my room would be like if it flipped over. How weird to have to step over the light fixture and walk on that cottage cheese-like stuff when it became the floor. I would do this in every room of the house. I also did this at other people's houses, but my mom didn't like it too much. It was okay at like my cousins, but not at people that we didn't know too well. I read the book of it by Paul Gallico. I had the 45. I saw the movie 6 times, and I even got the poster. Making a living the old hard way, taking and giving my day by day. I used to draw the movie's advertisement graphic, and I would look for other movies that its stars had appeared in the TV guide. Gene Hackman, Ernest Borgnine, Red Buttons, Carol Lindley, Roddy McDowell, Stella Stevens, Shelley Winters, Jack Albertson, Pamela Sue Martin, Arthur O'Connell, Eric Shea, and Leslie Nielsen as the captain.
Don't you ever say that to me again! Shove it, shove it, shove it.
Eric Shea played Pamela Sue Martin's little brother in the movie named Robin. I wish so hard my name was Robin. I wished even harder that I could play the kid part in movies with handsome men to save me from harm and hug me when I would almost die in explosions. I asked my mom about all the stars in the movie, and she said that when she first started out, Carol Lindley was so beautiful she was named the Snow Queen because of her most perfect complexion. My sister and I loved a movie Stella Stevens and Shelley Winters were both in called The Mad Room, and would act out a scene of a brother and sister finger painting flowers and smiley faces out of their dead mom's blood. My own mom didn't have much to say about Stella Stevens, except she made a face and said she played the whore. I asked, "What's a whore?" And she said, "A cheap, gaudy lady that's with a man for money."
Come here, you lousy cop.
That explained being with Ernest Borgnine when you're pretty. I asked my mom who else was a whore, and she said a lot. Faye Dunaway was one, and Jane Fonda was one, and Anne Margaret was another. Angie Dickinson and Tuesday Weld were both whores. I liked all them a lot, and now they were even more beautiful and mysterious. After that, I was in awe of even the word whore, like how it started with a W and not an H, and I would sometimes slightly pronounce it.
What are you doing here, Kitty?
I run the candy concession.
I called girls at school whore as a term of affection and reserved it only for special prettier girls, but one told and I got in trouble by the teacher and she called my mom and my mom came to the school and slapped me. It was then I knew for sure what I had suspected all along, that whore was connected to fuck, the most banned word. You know, all who used the words fuck and fucker knew the pleasure it would give to say them out loud or even in your head to yourself, and totally worth the chance of getting caught at. Some boys at school and my cousins said motherfucker too, but for me I thought it would be better to keep the image of my mother out of the picture. I didn't want to ruin its specialness. To me, fuck was about whores and a certain kind of prettiness in a lady and a certain kind of handsomeness in a man, and the whole subject gave me a warm itch feeling, like when you climb a rope, kind of a have-to-go-pee feeling, but in a better way.
Hurry up, doctor. This baby's got to go winky-tinky.
Don't worry. Like after taking cough medicine, all tingly. TV, though, was the place where you'd have this feeling the most. And you wouldn't always know why, because you're not doing anything except watching James West on Wild Wild West without his shirt, being put in a cage by that midget, and his hands are tied up behind his back. Or say Batman's tied up and Catwoman's right there in his face purring. But none of this compared to when I got the neighborhood boys to play Poseidon Adventure in the pool or in the canyon behind Averill Avenue or at the beach.
Are you game?
Yes, sir.
Good boy.
Not the upside-down part of it, but the actor and actress part. See, even though I wanted to play the kid part in a for-real movie, when we would play Poseidon Adventure, I always played the Stella Stevens part of the whore.
Just panties. What else do I need?
I liked that she got to strip her dress off and just go in her underwear, and I love that she got to die dramatic when a sudden boom knocks her off a ladder and she falls into boiling water. I could do her body contortion perfect, and then fall off the diving board, and I could do it over and over. Most of playing Poseidon, though, was in the canyon behind our property where there's no grown-ups. The boys I played would have to take off their shirt, and I would wear it with just my bun huggers, and dried bamboo does not feel great on naked legs. We'd mix Poseidon Adventure up with other stories, but they always had to do with struggling to survive, a disaster or a maniac or something. I just liked the idea that these boys I was with were fighting to save my life. I would set up situations to touch, like falling into a pit or something, so I'd have to grab onto them, and they would have to hold my body and pull me out. Being the whore made me the one in control of the games, though, and it was easy to change the scenes to other stuff I saw on TV if anyone ever got embarrassed at their boner.
Now, don't you drop nothing on me, Gene. You take care of those breakables, understand?
If I wasn't playing Poseidon Adventure and didn't have another boy's shirt on, I would make my t-shirt into a halter by folding the bottom through the neck, or swinging around my bike lock like a person saying, "Come on, big boy," to my friend.
Every part of me cried out for attention, so I gave it.
I liked playing the whore too, because it was something my mom was against, whores, and so I felt exotic to myself in the way of saying fuck out loud. And it was safe to do all this in the bamboo in the canyon with no adults and to pop boners and sweat on each other, because all of it could be called playing if anyone ever freaked out or said fag, but then no one ever did. Not there. Luckily, I never got into trouble playing Poseidon Adventure or any of these other horror games because no one ever caught us and none of the boys ever told. And I see now they didn't, probably because they were discovering the same kinds of foreign feelings that I was that were so different from the feelings of home or of school or of regular playing and didn't want to wreck it. And it was in the safety of pretending to be Stella Stevens in the Poseidon Adventure, in the bamboo, in the canyon, behind our property, behind Averill Avenue. And luckily, it was our imaginations run wild that led us.
If I could, I'd like to be a great big movie star. Overnight sensation.